So let us discuss oral anticoagulants. So anticoagulants are the drugs which are useful to prevent the coagulation of blood, which is resulted due to the hemorrhagic disorders. Okay. So when we get any kind of injury, we um, in the body there is a general capacity of blood, or the physiology of the blood is what it get clot, but sometimes the clotting takes place unnecessarily, and this clotting may cause the various cardiovascular or ischemic heart diseases due to the blockage of the blood vessels. And due to this condition we need to resolve this clotting from our blood. So how the oral anticoagulants has been came into existence. Earlier we have discussed the parenteral anticoagulants, that are heparin and lepidolin, the low molecular weight heparin, high molecular weight heparin. Okay, and these heparins, some are in vivo, that are given in the form of injection, while others are in vitro, that are useful in the uh, blood banks to preserve the blood in the power bags for the blood transfusion purposes. So oral anticoagulants has been evolved from this. The Here you can see the what happened following the report of hemorrhaging disorder in the cattle that resulted from the ingestion of spoiled sweet clover silage, and identified a hemorrhagic agent, bis hydroxycoumarin, that is a dicarmarol. So that is one uh, the drug that has been discovered by this Campbell and Ling in 1939. In 1948, a potent synthetic congener was introduced as an extreme effective rodenticide. The compound was named as warfarin. So warfarin as an acronym derived from the name of patent holder, the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation. So this warfarin name has been given due to this patent holder name, that is warfarin, WARF, warfarin. Okay. So warfarin's potential as a therapeutic anticoagulant was recognized but not widely accepted, partly due to the fear of unacceptable toxicity. So that is the major reason why the warfarin is not useful as an potential therapeutic anticoagulant. So here what is happening, the fear of toxicity, it is not accepted as an anticoagulant. Okay. But however, in 1951, the army inductee eventually survived an attempt suicide with the massive doses of preparation of warfarin intended for rodent control. So by this accidental use of warfarin, the warfarin is useful and used in the treatment. Since then, these anticoagulants have these coagulants have become a mainstay for prevention of thromboembolic disease. Since then, the anticoagulants have become a mainstay for prevention of thromboembolic disease. So let us see the classification of these oral anticoagulants. Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, that is it is a coumarin derivative, the warfarin. And let us see the pharmacokinetics of this warfarin. Warfarin is rapidly and completely absorbed after oral administration, 100% bioavailability, high PBB, then crosses the placenta, that is teratogenic. That means it when it is given to the pregnant woman, It may cross the placenta and may reach to the new fetus and may cause the teratogenic effects in that baby, and the limbs or any other problems may get observed in that fetal. It appears in milk, and the infants given vitamin K, variable but slow clearance, depends on hepatic P40 P450 chromosome. So it is very important when we are taking the warfarin. It is administration is 100% bioavailability, but it gets slowly cleared and depends on hepatic uh, chromosomal enzyme system, that is P450S. The biotransformation by the liver, by the reaction, oxidation and glucoronidation, uh, it takes about 12 to 16 hours before effect is observed. So the warfarin, when we take, uh, takes 12 to 16 hours before effect is observed. So when we are taking warfarin, we will get this effect after 12 to 16 hours of administration of the warfarin. So let us see vitamin K dependent clotting factors. So we have discussed this. The vitamin K is useful in this clotting process or coagulation process of blood. The factors 7, factor 9, factor 10 and factor 2, these are important in the coagulation. They synthesize the functional coagulation factors. So what happens when the warfarin is given? The warfarin antagonizes this vitamin K, and it will not available as a cofactor for the synthesis of these factors, and there will be no synthesis of functional coagulation factors. There will be no synthesis of functional coagulation factors, and due to this, the coagulation process of blood will be halted or stopped. The mechanism of action of this warfarin, here we have madam, coumarin blocks the gamma carboxylic of glutamic acid residue of clotting factors, factors 2, 7, 9 and 10, and endogenous anticoagulants C and S. So this is the mechanism is coupled with the oxidative deactivation of vitamin K that we have discussed with the diagram. It antagonizes the vitamin K and antagonizes the vitamin K and prevents or stops or inhibits the synthesis of these coagulation factors. Then coumarins and these indendions enzymes, vitamin K epoxide reductase, that convert the vitamin K epoxide to its active hydroquinone. That is a reduced form of vitamin K, and that is useful for its synthesis of the clotting factors. So that the prevention, this conversion of vitamin K epoxide vitamin K epoxide to its hydroquinone is inhibited by these coumarins indendions, and this enzyme that is vitamin K epoxide reductase is inhibited and will further inhibit the conversion of this epoxide to hydroquinone, and that will not be available for the synthesis of these factors, and the anticoagulant effect is obtained. Thus, they prevent the vitamin K activation and hence along with it carboxylations of clotting factor residues. Now, why the carboxylation is necessary? Why the carboxylation is necessary? Necessary for ability of clotting factors to bind calcium to get bound to phospholipid surfaces, which is necessary for coagulation. So necessary, why carboxylation is necessary? It is a necessary for ability of clotting factors to bind calcium and to get bound to phospholipid surfaces, which is necessary for coagulation. It is necessary for ability of clotting factors to bind calcium and to get bound to phospholipid surfaces, which is necessary for coagulation. Then factors 7 affected first, then 9, then 10, and finally the factor 2 that depends upon half-lives of circulating factors. So it is where what is the necessity of this carboxylation, because it is the ability, it gives the ability to clotting factors to bind calcium and to get bound to phospholipid surfaces, and which is necessary for coagulation. So here this is the mechanism of action of this warfarin and curmagin derivative. So it will prevent the conversion of this epoxide to vitamin K, reduced vitamin K, that is hydroquinone format, and this will convert this carboxylation. So the once the carboxylation is inhibited, inhibition of this carboxylation, the clotting factors will not get activated and will not get uh, coagulation process will not be start. The same mechanism is shown here with this help of this diagram. Here you can see the anticoagulant cormagins will prevent this vitamin K reductase enzyme and will not convert the vitamin K to hydroquinone format, and this reaction will not get converted, that is glucose residue in prothrombin will not get carboxylated. The carboxylation means the addition of the COOH group, and this will be inhibited, and this process will inhibit the process of coagulation. Now let us see the uses of the anticoagulant warfarin. It is useful as heparin, same as heparin and other anticoagulants. It monitoring The monitoring of this warfarin is used because it's low therapeutic index. What is mean by low therapeutic index? So when we are taking the drug, we need a margin of therapeutic safety, so that it is called as the therapeutic window. So if there is a higher dose, it may cause the toxicity, so we have to take the very cautious, we have to take the doses very cautiously, because the very less dose is also sufficient and will may cause some toxicity in the patients. The prothrombin time is noted, time taken for blood to clot is noted. So it is very important to note the prothrombin time, the conversion of this prothrombin to thrombin. So prothrombin time is noted to form the blood clot. points on heparin are shifted to oral warfarin after 3 to 5 days. So points patients these are going on the heparin treatment, parenteral heparin treatment are shifted to oral warfarin after 3 to 5 days. When the patient is not after its condition get stabilized, it may be shifted to the warfarin oral warfarin treatment. So let some adverse effects are adverse associated with the warfarin use, oral anticoagulant uses. So first adverse effect is the bleeding. That is the common serious adverse effect, bleeding, because as the anticoagulant, so it may turn the condition worse because the coagulation process get inhibited, and due to this the higher amount of bleeding may get take place there due to this warfarin use. And second is the cutaneous necrosis. This is due to the decreased activity of protein C. Protein C and protein S found in bone and other tissues also require gamma carboxylations. Then infraction of breast, fatty tissues, intestine, and extremities due to the venous thrombosis caused by again decreased activity of protein C. So these are some adverse effects: bleeding, cutaneous necrosis, the infraction. When there is a condition of higher amount of doses of warfarin has been administered, the condition has to be treated with the use of this antidote that is called as the antidote of warfarin. So first of all, we have to, whenever we are getting the toxicity of warfarin or serious adverse effects of warfarin observed, then we have to stop the warfarin immediately. Then give the vitamin K as an antidote, because warfarin itself, what is its mechanism? It is antagonizing the vitamin K. So once we are getting the adverse effects of warfarin, we have to stop the warfarin, and we will, if the warfarin poisoning is occur there, then we will give the vitamin K as an antidote. And also we have to administer the fresh frozen plasma, then prothrombin complex, and that concentrates and recombinant factor 7A can be administered so that we can get recover the warfarin toxicity patient. Contraindications, the warfarin, as earlier we had discussed, it may cause the placenta, so we have to avoid the use of warfarin in the pregnant women's or pregnancy condition. The fetal protein in the bone and bone get affected, blood get affected. It can cause the birth defects including the abnormal bone formation. Then CNS defect, fetal hemorrhage, fetal hypothrombemia, and fetal death may occur in some cases. Then other contraindications same as heparin. So some, as we have discussed, the heparin is also indicated in some condition. The same contraindications or same conditions are contraindicated with the use of warfarin. Drug interactions of warfarin, pharmacokinetic interactions, agents that inhibit metabolism of warfarin, like when we on the treatment of warfarin, we have to take care of the drug interactions with this, like cimetidine, then imipramine, then cotrimoxazole, then chloramphenicol, then ciprofloxacin, metronidazole, amiodarone. So all these are the drugs we have to take care of, because they agents that inhibit the metabolism of warfarin. Means the warfarin metabolism get inhibited with this, if they are available there, and may cause the increase in the effect of this warfarin or cause the decrease in the effect of warfarin. Then other drugs that increase the metabolism of warfarin, barbiturates and rifampin. Then drugs that displace the warfarin from binding sites on plasma albumin like chloral hydrate and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Drugs that decrease the gastrointestinal tract absorption of warfarin like cholestyramine, as it is one, we can say, the exogenous lipid inhibiting drug, resin cholestyramine, anti-hyperlipidemic drug. Then some pharmacodynamic interactions are like the effect of warfarin increase or decreased. So synergistic effect is observed when we are using the warfarin with the heparin, aspirin, and some antibiotics. They are decreasing the bacterial flora and decreases the vitamin K, and that increases the action of warfarin. These are the pharmacodynamic interactions. Some physiological and pathological factors affecting warfarin actions are uh, increased warfarin action due to the malnutrition, debility, then liver disease, chronic alcoholism, decreased clotting factors, hyperthyroidism, increased degradation and clotting factors, newborns, newborns, decreased vitamin K. So in such cases or in such physiological and pathological conditions, warfarin action may be increased. Some so drugs or cases, physiological conditions in which the warfarin action is decreased, like pregnancy. In such cases, like increased clotting factors, nephrotic syndrome, and warfarin resistance. So in such cases, conditions, the warfarin action is decreased. So this is these factors are inactivated by heparin antithrombin complex, so inhibited by the coumarin. So these yellow factors are inhibited or inactivated by heparin, factor 12A, 11A, 9A, 10A, then thrombin, conversion of prothrombin to thrombin, while the synthesis of these factors inhibited by coumarins. So this yellow color gives this the inhibition of this factor 7, 10, and 9. So this is about anticoagulants, oral anticoagulants.